wrestling buddies want to be your buddies.
What's going on?
Hey, buddy. Buddy!
You got me mad now.
The Royal Rumble has come and gone, which means we are officially on the road to the 2K16 WrestleMania. And if you're Chuck Rice in studio, it is a sweaty road as he's trying his best to put together Japanese toys that he brought back from that very special land. But we'll get to that. Welcome, everybody, to the Wrestling Compadres Slamcast. We got a squad, y'all.
The Mega Power!
Let's get right to it. First off, we are at WrestlingBuds on Twitter. We are Facebook.com/WrestlingBuds. I am at Jay Quasto. That man right there wearing the Ambrose Asylum t-shirt holding miniature lightsabers?
Chopsticks, dude.
They're glow-in-the-dark chopsticks.
No.
Lightsaber chopsticks.
Lightsaber chopsticks. Okay.
That I was able to construct without sweating.
Do you not?
You see a little bit right there.
And you're wearing.
No, you're wiping your sweat on me, you pig.
You're wearing a bit of a grandpa sweater, which I imagine is in tribute to Abe Vigoda, which is very nice of you.
That's right.
Who we lost today.
No.
Yeah, 94 years old. Wonderful.
No,
man.
he's still alive.
I think he always will live.
No,
in
it's
our
a
hearts.
conspiracy. He's fine.
I love Abe Vigoda.
He's the best.
My favorite line
Fish.
that he ever did, I still yell all the time from Look Who's Talking when he's sitting there with his grandson and the aide comes in, he goes, "Get the hell out of here!" Still one of my favorites. Anyways, find him on Twitter at Curtain Jerks. He's the host of the Curtain Jerks podcast, the 16 Bits podcast. He's Scott Narver.
Scott Narver, he's Scott Narver. Curtain Jerk Compadre, he's always there to save the day. Scott Narver, he's Scott Narver.
Oh man, that's good music.
Yeah.
Who sang it this time?
Who sang? What do you mean? Who sang it this time?
Oh boy.
It's one person every time.
Starting
oh
already.
boy. Yep. It's
one person every time.
I knew putting them next to each other was a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, it's been said.
That's what happens. You got here last. You have to sit next to Chuck. That's the rule.
So you mean save the best for last?
Ooh,
Speaking of which, he is here and he's back from Japan. You can find him on Twitter at CRice17. He's Chuck Rice.
He's a man!
So you have a gift bag of some type.
Yeah, you're not getting your gift now.
Well, that's
I'll
fine.
take it.
I'm going to give it to Rich.
That's fine. Rich deserves it. I'll bring him right in. He is a very, very good friend of the show. He is a movie producer. He knows a ton about wrestling. He's a massive fan. If it wasn't for you, I would have never hosted Access Live
That's
at
true.
Access TV.
That is very true.
And you can find him on Twitter at Rich Marincic. That's Marincic. He's Rich Marincic, everybody.
That's right.
Yeah. We're ready to fly with yo ass.
That's right. Thanks for having me.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And it wouldn't be a completely full squad if it wasn't for the man who also is in Japan. He's back in Washington, D.C. Find him on Twitter at The Walking Dale. You know he's the homie Dale Rutledge.
I got a puppet.
I got a puppy.
Bad news.
My friend, are you still in snow?
Oh, Lord. Am I ever? I don't think it's ever going away. They just push it around to get through, but it's still thick as ever.
What's the temperature? Is it still freezing?
No, it's melting a little. It's like mid-30s, so it's just like slushy, gross. But, hey, I still had power for the Royal Rumble, and that was my main concern, so I made it through.
Round of applause for power.
Have you been playing Tsum Tsum to pass the time while you're stuck inside?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, right.
Is that a Japanese video game reference?
Chuck and I picked up a bad, Japanese
Very bad
game.
habit.
They have it here in the States, but it's based on Japan, yeah.
Very bad habit.
Okay. I'm completely in the dark.
Do you want this old man sweater right now?
I should have one. I am Fun Dad.
Huh? What with the kids in the games?
What's the Zoom Zoom? Is it a vacuum cleaner?
You gotta plug it into wall.
I don't know. Anyways, Dale, welcome back, buddy. I know you were technically back last week, but I wasn't, and so it's good to have you.
Yeah, how was life on the boat?
The open seas were very nice. There was a comedy club on the ship, and people were cool. Met a lot of really talented people. There was a Legally Blonde musical on there. There was and Scott, you spent like months on a ship once, right?
It's true, I did.
Second City. It was interesting. After 1 week, I was like, "Oof, I'm ready to get off this ship." But I give a lot of people credit, you know.
they did a lot of like 80s rock bands tours lately. I wonder if they would ever do a WWE cruise ship.
They've done that before, man. But it was like way back in the day, and it was like weird and.
It seems like something that would be more now, something that, like a fan fest.
Yeah, I don't think you
now.
want wrestlers in the '80s going on a cruise. That's a bad.
Tugboat be on there?
You wouldn't remember it no matter what happened anyway.
Yeah, that's very true.
We go off the script.
Yeah, I went a little off the script with the WWE cruise there.
All right, Johnny, I'm gonna give you your present.
But it was fun. Oh, okay. Well, we have a while you're.
I'm
Okay.
gonna give you your present.
While we're opening the bag here, blood drive at Children's Hospital, everyone, Saturday, February 13th. Call 323-361-2441 to sign up. I'm going to be there, and a lot of great people are going to be there helping out these kids. So if you're in Los Angeles, please hit me up on social media or call 323-361-2441. That's Saturday, February 13th. Give
gift
blood,
of
save
life.
a life. Yes, give blood, save a life. Oh, what is all this?
But it's a gift of life is what I'm saying. We're getting gifts here, but you're giving life.
Get some
Give
color.
blood.
Trying to give the gift of life. Oh, this is cool. Is it?
This gift will
you
help
wrap
you
that
get your.
yourself?
This
This
is
gift will help you get your
This is-
blood count up
Is this
before you
anthrax?
go
What is this?
to the. It's some.
It's a pop-up book.
It's
Come
some
on.
like Japanese tea, man. Some fancy
Oh,
Japanese tea.
dude, yeah.
Oh, make Rhino Horn the strong.
Oh, this is beautiful. I love tea.
And then
Thanks.
you
Made
got
from
some
bat
crazy Kit Kats in there. One of which is Dale turned me onto it. Sweet potato Kit Kats.
No.
Johnny's a sweet potato nut.
Kabuki!
I'll hit a soundbite for
Johnny
that.
does love potatoes.
This
does.
looks like a creme brulee something, perhaps. This looks delicious.
So
And
there you go.
Wow.
well, do you guys? I feel bad taking it all. Would you guys like some? This is great. Thanks.
You can share with your seatmate over there.
Yeah, how about
but
there you go.
Narver, I
Fish-flavored
brought
Kit Kats?
something back from Japan also for you.
I think
Fish scale Kit
this
Kats.
is a fish cat.
So listen,
Yeah, I think it is.
I'm good.
Scott Narver is equally big Star Wars fan like I am.
It's true.
And when I was in Japan, as Dale can attest to, one of the things I was seeking out everywhere,
Ooh.
Japanese Star Wars poster. Couldn't find one for the life of me.
So you failed.
I failed.
Okay.
I was gonna guess Japanese whores, but I guess he also was looking for Star Wars.
Well, I mean, you know, one's more expensive than the other.
But I did find this, I think it's like a commemorative Japanese Star Wars newspaper poster thingy.
Whoa.
Okay. There
And
are
it's
numbers
like,
on it and
you
Japanese
know-
lettering.
And I see a Star Wars logo.
So that is for you, Mr. Narver.
Wow.
Scott's
Yeah,
force
very
has
cool.
been awakened.
This is like.
It's like a newspaper thing.
Yeah.
No, it's actually a newspaper.
yeah.
We don't know yet.
It's the
because
art
it has
section of
this,
the Tokyo
like,
Times. Thank you.
I don't know. It was wrapped up in a thing where I couldn't see into it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of things at the bookstore.
Like Japanese horse.
yeah.
Well, the bookstores in Japan are a lot.
As a person only getting to listen to this, I feel like this was a great off-air activity.
That's why I gotta watch it on YouTube.
Actually, I think Scott, you should learn enough Japanese to read that entire thing.
I do. I already know it.
Oh, you do?
That's pretty cool, right?
Kylo Ren is played by Nakamura.
Oh,
Is
I
what
love
it
that.
says right here.
Yes,
I know
yes.
that.
Yep. Who also did the theme music for me. Thank you very much.
Whichever knows,
Nakamura.
Kylo Ren is the king of strong style in outer space.
Jar Jar Binks has his own tempura restaurant opened up on 5th Avenue.
And
right
it looks
there.
like the first guest was,
George Lucas.
yeah.
Yeah, so you guys know. Japanese whores available on the back.
Oh.
Down in the back alley there.
Robot.
And
Robotic horse.
obviously the pimps are R2-D2 and C-3PO.
Yes, that's right.
Makes total sense.
Yeah, no, it does.
This is great.
Is this
Thanks,
canon, by the way? I mean,
Since
Star
it's
Wars
printed, it's canon.
Okay.
Look, C-3PO comes across as very dainty and frail, but
So
let's
there
be
you go.
honest.
You got some commemorative Star Wars Japanese stuff.
Let's give a round of
Thanks.
applause for Chuck Rice bringing back gifts.
Yeah.
Round of applause. Good call, buddy.
Thanks, man.
All right. Well,
Speaking of gifts,
what do we do now? Dale, is there anything you want to get into before we get into everything?
Let's talk about wrestling.
All right, let's start off with the Slamcast news. First topic of agenda in capital letters, Austin Aries. Awesome. So happy for him. And
His
the
shirt's
fans,
already sold out.
Yeah, the pre-orders are doing great, and man, I can't say enough great things about it. It's so well deserved. The fans have given such a strong reaction.
Yeah.
And I know he's heading down there again for some tapings and everything. It's just, and I know he couldn't be happier.
it'll be interesting to see who they have him work with right away because he's a little bit more senior than a lot of their guys. He's
Well,
been
avoid
around
the
world.
spoilers because there's been already people putting
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
on the internet. But yeah,
But it'll be interesting to see sort of who they have him go up against. Do they put him with some of the younger guys there who are just figuring out their character? Do they let him sort of do his thing, or they try to mold him in more of the NXT WWE mold?
Aries is a guy that, coming into WWE, it worries me a little bit more for him than it does someone like AJ, because AJ has built up such a name for himself. Not that Aries hasn't, but clearly they're already using AJ in an established role. I fear that they might start having some of their guys go over on Aries sooner than later down in NXT.
Just because people are going, don't worry about wins and losses when it comes to Austin Aries. He's going to look great, and anyone in the ring with him is going to look great because he is that great.
Look out,
and
Neville.
I think AJ is an exception to the rule. I mean, he's the only one that I can think of that hadn't had to go through the NXT treatment. So I don't think it's a bad sign for Austin in any way.
No, I'm not worried in the slightest about what's going to happen with Aries in NXT because talent wins out, and no matter who he's in the ring with, let's say he doesn't go over in his first feud. That's okay. Both can come out as winners.
I'm not saying that. I don't care about if he goes over in his first feud, his second feud. I'm more worried about them putting over long-term their talent as opposed to him and using him to kind of enhance their young guys, which, fine, but I just think Aries is suited for the best, and I hope that he is quickly pushed through NXT to the main roster.
I would have been worried about that before the reaction of the crowd when he came out. The reaction of the crowd when he came out was really strong.
Huge.
And, that's what he needs. As long as he's getting that reaction, then they're going to keep putting him in good stories.
And regardless of his age, he stays in great shape. He's got a long run in him. And he had reactions in TNA similar to the reactions that, in a way, that Daniel Bryan would get. Like when he won his title against Bobby Roode, the world title, that was, in my opinion, one of the greatest moments in that company's history in the past decade. I mean, people went crazy. Like, I knew people that got together, a huge group of people that got together to watch that pay-per-view. That rarely happens for Impact.
And they were Amish, which is crazy.
I know, they got cable for one night.
They don't even like electronics.
That's what I'm from Pennsylvania. I've heard a few things. Mm-hmm. I've driven by horses and buggies.
I think Neville's in trouble because now is the man that shows up who can wear a cape properly.
That's true. The question
Maybe
is,
they can have a cape versus cape match.
Oh, that'd be great.
That's not.
Can you imagine those two in a match, though? That would be
NXT Cape Over.
Yeah, Cape Over. Mm-hmm. NXT Cape Over. Flight. So, Dale, what are your thoughts?
They both look great in capes.
No, not on capes, man.
That wraps up the show. Thank you.
Come on.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Do you want the old man?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I'm more worried for Neville than I am for Austin. I think Neville's kind of been floundering for a little bit, and they don't really, they put him in some matches, but when was the last time that we really seen any good storyline for him? SummerSlam is all I can think of.
I just think he's got to improve the mic skills. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
He's got to find a version of himself that he can present.
And there's no real character there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's amazing to watch in the ring, but who is...
That's the thing.
What is his character?
It's hard to have a character when you're not talking. Even Kalisto has been talking plenty lately, and it's really getting people behind him.
And he's got the lucha gimmick that he can sort of... That can be a substitute for a character.
But he's perfectly bilingual, too, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Either that or it's time to start implementing back in managers more so than Paul Heyman.
Trust me, I would love to see more managers.
Or Neville needs to just be a part of a tag team and ride it with somebody else.
They have such a strong singles push for a while. It'll feel like if they just throw him with another singles guy, and it's not like a more organic, send him down to NXT and repackage it a little bit. It'll feel like a mishmash,
Unless he wants to join the Golden Truth.
You sure?
I mean, listen, you can make fun of that, but that has the potential to be Goldust Booker T 2.0.
I'm so on board with that. After that segment they had together, come on. All day.
I mean,
all day, every day.
Goldust is hilarious on his own. R-Truth is always funny. Mm-hmm. Those two together, that's a tag team I want to see go all the way to the top.
Absolutely. Now, I think we'll get it. Obviously, maybe it'll build up. They'll have these awkward segments one after the other, then finally tag up. But Austin Aries, yes, officially signing with WWE, debuting at NXT very, very soon. I imagine in the next couple of weeks. We'll talk plenty about him, but let's move on. Nikki Bella, best wishes to her. She's undergoing neck surgery. I believe, if you're listening to this on Wednesday, I'm not quite sure what's going to happen. They're thinking they may have to fuse a couple segments in her neck.
Have they said how long they think she's going to be out? Because if it is a fuse...
It could be career. It's possible to be carever ending. They won't know until they get in there.
There's been a lot of Bellas over the last 12 months on TV, which is good.
Yep.
But, if ever there was a time to sort of pull back on them and focus on some of the other talent they have in the women's division, it's okay. I hope she's back.
Yes.
And not gone forever, because her star power is undeniable.
Yeah, best wishes to her. I mean, her and Brie have definitely worked their asses off over the last couple of years, and they're great interviewers, especially Nikki. She's always been the greatest in talking, and she's super cool, and she's a Philly girl. So best wishes to her. Hope you get better soon. How about this, Dale? Jim Ross signing on with Access TV. Our former employer, Rich.
Our former employer, right.
He's going to be doing New Japan.
I love it. I mean, I just from Wrestle Kingdom 9, when he was on there, I mean, he was very infatuated with the product itself. So it was nice to kind of feel his exuberism and have him be there again, and to get that on a regular basis. I mean, why wouldn't you be down with that?
Big time, especially.
Are we sure this won't be too fast-paced for him?
How's the lighting going to be?
Well, better lighting.
Better lighting. Slow down. I think Access needs a reason for people who aren't hardcore wrestling fans to watch that show
Jim
and
Ross
get exposed to it.
Yeah.
And he's a great way for the casual wrestling fan to bring them into the fold and have them sample the product. And it's a great show. But there needs to be something more. The other guys that were there did a great job on commentary, but it wasn't enough to bring somebody to a destination like Access TV on Friday night.
And it's easy enough. You and I know the studio. He flies in, he goes to the studio, and he sits down and does matches.
He'll probably come in one day and bang out several of them.
I think he said 8 to 10 times this year,
that's great. Yeah. I mean, and it's perfect for him because he will bring a fresh perspective to it. He does his homework. He'll know the guys, he'll know the moves, and he'll present it in a way where, it'll reach out to those fans of wrestling from maybe the 90s or maybe that haven't seen New Japan or don't know it as well, and they'll come in and see what it is and hopefully stay.
Mm-hmm. It makes me wish that we were still doing stuff at Access, just so we could see JR.
We could see him walking around the
hey,
hallway.
Hey, colleague.
Hey, how you doing?
Why can't we let's restart Access Live for like 3 months?
You want to go back to work for Cuban?
I never met him. But
okay, you go do that.
Look, we did a good job.
Yes,
That's all we can do.
What would you say to Mark Cuban if you were to meet him now and try and pitch the show again, Johnny? What's your pitch?
Number one, I'd say, hey, remember me? And then I'd have to remind him for about 10 minutes who I was. But then I think maybe...
Then you tell him how big of a fan you are of Shark Tank.
Yeah, I've seen 3 episodes.
Whatever you pitch Mark, just make sure it's his idea.
Yeah.
And then he'll love it. But he's a huge wrestling fan. I mean, he had, wrestling's been on that network since it was HDNet. He took a chance on, he has fights on that network that, aren't big time UFC fights or MMA fights. And he's a big wrestling fan, so him bringing us over here to exposure, he's smart, and him bringing JR on is also smart.
Brilliant.
It's exposing it to more people, and I think it'll work. I'm sure he's not paying a ton for the license, and getting JR on there is very smart for them.
Plus Barnett's got so much credibility in both worlds.
Yeah.
Is Barnett still going to be announcing with JR?
Mm-hmm.
Those two.
That's going to be a fun team.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a really fun combo, no doubt. Here you go, Chuck. TNA apparently is trying to offer Kurt Angle a new deal, but right now his final match is advertised as being January 31st against Lashley in Birmingham, England.
And that'll be being recorded this week.
Okay. Are they in UK?
They're in the UK, Manchester on Friday.
Right now, okay. What do you think? I mean, do you... who knows?
Well, I'm just going to say...
Don't say anything you can't
I'm not going to say... Look, all I'm going to say is very happy for Kurt, very happy for his family. They're going to get some...
It's like you're running for office right now.
Ducking the question.
Oh, boy.
That's hilarious.
Kurt's got a lot of things he wants to do. One of them is he's focusing on announcing for MMA right now.
Wow.
He's going to be doing Bellator announcing.
Is he really?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to, going to go to a show in February in Houston with him and Booker and Charmel.
That'll
Kurt will be announcing down there, so...
He knows the amateur wrestling background that a lot of these guys have, but he also knows the showmanship of professional wrestling, so...
He's been doing it a little bit. He's been doing their fan fests.
He was a Warrior.
Yeah.
And,
and Sharknado 2.
Was he?
Was he in 2?
Yeah, he's in 2.
But,
and Dylan Dog Out of Night that I put him in, just saying. Yeah.
Best role ever.
Yeah.
That's right, you cast him before, huh?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
But Kurt is focused on really doing the Hollywood thing for a bit, too, so... all the power to him. I think this is the right time to leave TNA for him, and
okay.
I hope it is excellent for them and him.
You know what?
I feel like you're saying a lot, but not saying.
Well said, Dale. Let's move on. Stardust tweeted this week. Stardust is coming to an end. Dale, what the hell? What does that mean? Any clue?
No, I have no idea. I am intrigued. I love that he's always trying to reinvent himself, but I feel like Stardust still has some gas on it, though. So I was a bit surprised to see that, but I guess he's also a guy who, since SummerSlam, we haven't really seen him doing a whole lot. So maybe they figured out a way to use him again properly, but maybe it's another character reinvention.
What do you think about maybe Stardust disappearing, coming back again, and having like a solid babyface run towards a singles title? Because he hasn't had one at Stardust yet. Wouldn't that be? I don't know. Anyone else on board?
I mean, yeah, that could be cool. I mean, you could do something as like changing his makeup. You know what I mean? It could just be something that like he's a different version of Stardust, and maybe he's like Dark Dust, or I don't know. That's not a great
How about
idea.
the David Bowie version?
You know, just something different, but still in the same vein.
Ziggy Stardust.
Dude, I loved that, by the way, when they had him and Dolph Ziggler standing next to each other on the stage that night.
Yeah.
That was a
good tribute.
Excellent little tribute right there.
Scotty?
I think he made a mistake. I think he meant to tweet, the Ascension is coming to an end.
Oh.
If a tree falls in the woods.
Damn, what does that mean for them, though, if, like, their whole new thing was partnering up with him as Stardust, and now he's like, Stardust is coming to an end.
Like,
these guys just can't catch a break.
No, they cannot.
And lastly, TNA has come to terms with, I don't know if it's a releaser, but TJ Perkins, a.k.a. Manic, is no longer going to be with the company, but he's a fantastic athlete and literally will land on his feet. So best of luck to him as well. And that is our Slamcast news. All right, let's get into it, Dale. I know we got about 15 minutes left with you, so immediately, your thoughts on the last 48-ish hours between the Royal Rumble and Monday Night Raw. A lot's going on. Needless to say, this is the most exciting time of the year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think we should address the fact that the Rumble itself had some of the best storytelling in ages, I would say, that, you know, to live inside of one match.
Yep.
I couldn't give more kudos to the way that thing was booked.
What are your favorite booking? I'm sorry, I'm eating a Kit Kat.
Which flavor?
Which flavor? Fish scale Kit Kat?
I'm not sure.
No, it's the Kobe pudding.
What's
the Kobe pudding? Did you try that one yet, Dale?
Kobe
is that what this
beef
is?
pudding?
Kobe pudding.
Yeah,
Kobe Bryant pudding?
In Kobe, there's this specific pudding like everywhere. I don't know why. I don't know the lore to it, but it is everywhere. And Kit Kat, for whatever reason, has a flavor.
Well,
for
if it tastes anything,
good, I think.
If it tastes anything like this Kit Kat, I'd be all over that Kobe pudding.
If it's got any sugar in it, period, you'd be all over it. So it's not really a huge thing.
You know me too well.
You just wait till he tries the sweet potato one, Dale.
Which one's the sweet potato one?
The one with sweet potatoes on it?
There's nothing with sweet potatoes on it.
That's the sweet potato?
This is a sweet potato.
Yeah, it is.
It's purple.
The purple sweet potato.
Japanese sweet potato.
Why does it look like a bunch of spaghetti?
Because Stardust made it, John. And it's coming to an end. It's the last of the line.
Japanese.
It's
You
all
shouldn't ask
coming
why does it
around.
look that
It's
way.
all coming around. What were your favorite moments of the Rumble, Dale?
I just like that almost every single elimination that happened had like a purpose behind it. Like it's definitely not the Rumble we saw last year where people were unceremoniously just kind of dumped out with no real reason. I mean, Sami Zayn getting, to come in there, and I mean, maybe Kevin Owens was the only elimination he did. I don't recall, but that's the only one that mattered storyline-wise, and he was able to do that, and having, like, Strowman dump out the other two huge guys, like the old school big dudes that kind of signify that he's the new big dude in town. I don't know, just it's little simple things that just made it feel like, they're paying attention to the same things that we're paying attention to as fans.
I'd say the one elimination that kind of surprised me a little bit, last year the last two guys were Rusev and Roman Reigns. This year the first guy eliminated was Rusev within 2 minutes, and I was a little surprised by that.
Yeah, I kind of felt like that was a misstep too. I would have had him go a little further. There's other storylines. I don't know what his storyline is going out of that match.
I don't think he does. I mean, last night Lana was standing there, but then.
But isn't I've heard rumors that he's gonna have to take some time off for an injury, all kinds of stuff. So that
he's got shoes on this year. It's totally different.
True.
He's barefoot before.
I like the shoes. Protect that foot.
I mean, I think you have to talk about how amazing the Wyatt family was and their impact on that Rumble.
Yeah,
true.
Who thought?
Do you guys think that that's a reflection of where we'll see Wyatt and Lesnar at WrestleMania, or do you think Lesnar is going to win that triple threat coming up?
No, I think the WrestleMania match might end up being Bray Wyatt, Brock Lesnar, and that's a match I would love to see.
I mean, Luke stood tall in that Rumble. I mean, he was doing most of the work, and he was the one looking really, really impressive. I mean, Strowman was in there too, but all focus is always on Bray, but Luke Harper just really, really brought it.
I think if anything, it's indicative they're going to be towards the top of the card, and they're going to play an important role in the season that we have ahead of us. And you know, they were some of the most active guys in that ring, and definitely on their side of the fence for the heels.
Taking out Brock Lesnar that's a statement right there.
Yeah.
That's a statement from the company. That's a statement for what Brock Lesnar means for WrestleMania season right now. That's a statement for what the Wyatt family, not just Bray, means.
Yeah.
You know?
Eventually, you mentioned about what they're going to mean in this season. I would love to see, at some point, the family turn on Bray Wyatt, because I think the fans are waiting to want to cheer this guy. And I think that's how you can get Luke Harper to that next level.
That's not happening during WrestleMania.
No. I'm saying afterwards down the road, but I think Luke Harper, that's how you get him to that next level. If he feuds with Bray Wyatt, I think that could be something.
Could be huge, yeah.
But I don't know, Dale. I mean, it's the triple threat is a weird predicament, because they hate Roman Reigns, they hate Dean Ambrose, but yet they have an opportunity to be the #1 contender.
Well, yeah, I guess so. I mean, if you look at it from that angle, it does seem a little odd, but
well, they put him in the
I like it. I like having the two friends in there and the Beast. I think it's a good dynamic we haven't seen too terribly much.
They're painting a really, really unique story with that one too, because normally we've seen those guys even in the past when they've been put against each other. They'll shake hands. They'll be like, "Hey, we're cool," you know, like it's best man wins, whatever. On Raw this week when it ended, neither one of them shook hands. There was no fist pounding afterwards. They were both just like...
Yeah, but they were still working together.
They were still together, but at the end when they announced that, you could see there was like a little look between them, which, like, to me, planted a seed different from the way they've handled that in the past when they've been pitted against each other like this.
That's why I like it. It could be... the storytelling we'll see might be the authority saying, yeah, we're going to turn them against each other and destroy them from within.
And I feel like... I mean, right now, we all have to assume that the match we're going to get at WrestleMania is Roman Reigns Triple H. But I think there's a really unique dynamic going on here where you could have, like maybe Reigns turn heel, Ambrose, like go against him in that role. Just all kinds of fun stuff playing right there. Maybe Ambrose turns heel, and you could have a really cool feud between the two of them.
I think we need to have Ambrose and Vince on screen together doing something. We've seen a lot of Reigns and Vince, and, it's all right. But Ambrose and Vince?
It's definitely more interesting dynamic.
Yes.
You got to... You're charismatic, sort of off the wall guy, and you're charismatic, off the wall old billionaire.
Yeah. If he didn't like Roman Reigns, he's not going to like Dean Ambrose.
You son of a bitch!
Definitely
not. I honestly feel like we need less Vince on TV right now.
Oh, boo!
Less Vince.
Boo.
Less Vince. Hold on. Listen.
I did.
Vince is great.
Boo.
Vince is great. He's always entertaining, but there's just something that just like makes me uncomfortable at this point, knowing that he's like a 70-year-old man.
That's why he should be on TV. It's like Carlin Bates said a couple weeks ago when you were in Japan. She said, appreciate the amazing people while we have them here. If we've learned anything from Dusty being gone, Roddy being gone, and so many people.
But what is there to appreciate about watching like a 70-year-old man get beat up?
Everything.
He doesn't get beat up every week. He's still... I mean, the fact that he could still do things like that is phenomenal. He could still get on the mic and be entertaining, and he could still be that larger-than-life figure that dominates everything. I think while he still wants to be on TV, it's his company.
Look, I'm just afraid that we're going to have another Jerry Lawler situation on our hands soon.
That's a totally different...
Jerry Lawler was way younger than 70, so I don't think it's an age thing that we're really talking about.
That's apples and oranges.
Plus, he doesn't get heart attacks, he gives them.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
It's apples and oranges.
Vince is the star maker. Once Vince is in the ring doing a segment with anybody, it solidifies them.
Yeah.
Triple H is one thing, Stephanie's another, but it's always
made
Vince.
You're made man or made woman when that happens.
So how much more do you look at Roman Reigns as a star right now that he's been in the ring with Vince like that?
It's helped him. But
it's helped him tremendously.
Because I don't...
But it's not... He's still not the guy.
Exactly.
No.
But the effort he's put in, I have a ton of respect for Roman Reigns after this past year. He's been busting his tail.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I'm just
Can we talk
saying,
about AJ and how awesome AJ was?
Can we-
Not to get off
can
that
we-
number, but like how great
Dale,
was the moment?
let's go back. I want to ask Dale though. Are you're still on board as much Vince as we can get on TV, right? Because who knows how long?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's not even. You don't need to make it morbid. I think that just to have him come in as a Band-Aid for, this was a really odd time for the WWE with all the different injuries and storylines that were leading into, unfortunately, nothing because those guys weren't there anymore. You were able to have Vince come in and kind of add some fire to this Reigns situation, which could have gotten very stale very quickly, but to have him come in and be this more authoritative figure, and it played so well with Triple H, and Triple H winning the Rumble wouldn't have made sense without Vince.
Right. And
they're just, I mean, this whole thing has been due to Vince's credit.
And at the same time, when he's in the ring with Triple H and Stephanie, he's not dominating. He's kind of taking a back seat to them, but he's that extra little bit of oomph that makes it must-see.
Look, I just don't want to see a 7-year-old man get beat up.
Let's not have him open any more power balls on TV, though. That's
that was bad. I love Steph's reference to
the $1 million giveaway,
whatever it was, Mega Millions,
McMahon's Millions.
Thank you, McMahon's Millions. That's what it was.
That was amazing.
Well done. Yes. Okay. So we're talking about. Should we go to AJ Styles next, or actually, Dale? You're almost out of here. What would you like to discuss? Anything else before you leave?
AJ Styles for sure. Now, do you guys think that? So AJ had an awesome. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better debut inside of the Rumble. I don't feel, but Kevin Owens coming in and being the guy to eliminate him. I think he was really one of the few guys that could do it and not have the audience, totally turn on him because of it. What did you guys feel about it?
Yeah, I think if you would have had Reigns eliminate him or Rusev or something like that, people would have felt cheated a little bit. But because they have their indie cred and whatnot, it made sense. But I mean, to me, anything after that entrance and that walk and that reaction from that crowd was just like it was frosting on the cake.
Sure.
Like the simple fact that they knew who he was, they were more ecstatic to see him walk down that ring than I think any wrestler that they had debut in, as far as I can remember, in a long time. So this gave me a lot of hope because a lot of times guys come in, they get a little hot shot, and then they find themselves in the middle card. And I don't think that's going to happen with AJ. I think he's got an important spot. That reaction, they need that from the guys. They don't have that from as many guys as they need it from. So that's my thought.
I mean, the most exciting thing for me watching that was getting to see all the possibilities of things to come, of like seeing AJ in there with guys that we never thought we'd see AJ Styles in a ring with, That was exciting. Like seeing him on Raw the next night with Jericho. Like my only qualm with that match was that it didn't go on for another 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Those two,
was good.
Like, I think it was JBL who made the comment at the end of his match where it was like when Jericho's shaking his hand, he's like, Jericho's looking in a mirror or something, It's like AJ Styles really is a young Chris Jericho in many ways.
But as excited as people,
they're not that different in age, though. That's the funny thing. They're like 5 years apart. Tops.
Yeah, as excited as people were at his Rumble entrance, a lot of people in their WWE universe hadn't seen him wrestle, hadn't seen him go 20 minutes one-on-one, and that's when he's the most exciting.
He's a great storyteller.
I love that we haven't gotten a Styles Clash yet either.
No,
that they've teased it.
He teased it several times.
Teased, and we're gonna. The pop's gonna be huge when it finally hits it.
Dale, how about the story that him and Nakamura told just a week ago, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy to see them at Wrestle Kingdom, having basically their first one-on-one match, and just, fast forward, what was it, 2 weeks, and he's inside the Royal Rumble. I mean, he got, super kicked out of the Bullet Club the night after Wrestle Kingdom at the show down the street in Japan, so it was, I don't know, it's been a great ride for him, and I think that this is kind of his moment to really be able to show everything that he's been proving, but I was a little nervous just about going into the WWE because I didn't know how the crowd would react, but after the Rumble and the following Raw, obviously that fear doesn't exist.
And Scotty, so in my opinion, if they wanted the strongest reaction possible at the end of the Rumble, good or bad, having AJ in there at the end with Triple H would have been the way to go.
You think so?
I think if you had AJ, then obviously they were rooting hard for Ambrose,
right?
But Ambrose was already the Intercontinental title holder, so you let AJ go all the way to the end. How bad would people be wanting him to win the title that night, and then Triple H wins, just a cataclysmic reaction?
Sure, but I think to their credit, it's like this tease of the Styles Clash. You get gypped of more of AJ within the
Making
Rumble.
him earn it.
Yeah, and you want to see him down the line. You want to see him on Raw. You want to see more because those who I watched it with a bunch of people who had never seen AJ Styles before.
Really?
Yeah, they heard of him.
Are they casual viewers or?
They're casual viewers, but they're mostly WWE viewers.
Okay.
And so they've always heard of this guy. They've always heard of him. And so the second that back body drop that he took, that we've all seen before, that he has this unique way of doing it.
He elevates.
Yes, and then it's that last second tuck. They all went, oh, you know. And they couldn't believe it, and they wanted to see more.
It was like, oh, I've seen that 100 times.
Yeah, but it was still cool to see there, and I think with Owens eliminating him and doing that, it's also a big investment for a guy that just signed.
Right, and I think realistically, he's just, you don't put him in the title picture right away. Like,
no, I get it.
So I think that it made sense because you have Ambrose in this title picture right now.
Yeah, just playing devil's advocate. A lot of people mentioned that, and so I threw it out there. But I'm with you. I get you.
I mean, I think they played his role very well. I think they played the majority of everything very, very well, with one exception that I'm sure we'll get into.
Oh. Well, you feel free to break it up if you like to.
Oh, I think they made Roman Reigns look terrible in the Rumble. I think he looked, to quote Chuck, he looked like a bitch.
I agree.
Well, he only took a nap for 3/4 of the match, so
he ducked out.
Yeah,
they had the stretcher coming. Okay, they beat him to death. I get it. Great. But the stretcher was there. Go out on the stretcher.
I think it was. You're right. It was a good idea. Wasn't executed well.
Right, and I don't know if it's to him or if it's they told him like you walk out or I don't know, but it wasn't executed right because he walked out with his own power, looking sad and sorry, like, well, I guess I can't be in the Rumble anymore.
Yeah.
Look,
then he comes back later.
Like
not hurt.
Ultimate Warrior style. I know, it would have been great to see him like struggle to get to the ring.
It wasn't that all. And then when we see Owens come out, Owens is limping.
Yes.
Owens is dead.
When you saw the match those two that him and Ambrose just had, you're like, how is he still moving?
And he's coming to get that title, and Reigns is walking away and looking like, I'm sorry, I can't.
Yeah.
And the other problem for me with the two is it's like it made it so predictable as far as his role in that Rumble became instantly. Like they did such a good job of making this Royal Rumble going into it like, fuck, Brock Lesnar could win.
Yeah.
Maybe outside chance Chris Jericho wins. The front runner has to be Roman Reigns. Oh, you've got Bray Wyatt. Oh, maybe Dean Ambrose has a possibility. We know there's this mystery guy like AJ coming in. For all we knew that there were these possibilities of people. Kevin Owens was a possibility to win, and then I think instantly when Roman Reigns was taken out of it, it wasn't that he instantly became one of the final people, but you knew it's like, all right, so we're gonna see a whole bunch of people get eliminated, and then out of nowhere he's going to come back, and it almost kind of wrote the script that you knew Triple H was going to be that last entrant too.
But I think to Scott's point, the timing of it, having Owens come down in such a bad shape and having Reigns almost at the same time. I mean, they were almost on the ramp together in a couple shots, and that just, you're right, it didn't make them look good.
It felt like a role reversal between the two. It made me want to cheer Owens that much more and boo Reigns because now it's your title on the line and you're leaving. You left for Lesnar. You left for a lot of the Wyatts. He was gone and he didn't have to face any of them. And now we know he's going to be this guy going on to the other spots. It's like you ducked out.
Well, Dale, speak to this. I mean, do you think it's just a lack of experience with Reigns, or did he just not take direction well? Because I gotta believe he wasn't told to sprint out of the locker room. I would think you have that flak jacket off, you have your Under Armour ripped, and just like you get destroyed. Then you just struggle to barely get back in the ring.
He should have come out limping like Owens did.
What do you think, Dale?
But I think there's also a lot of unknown factors that we don't know. I mean, was he supposed to be gurneyed out, and was something wrong with the gurney? Like,
maybe
there's always a technical issue there. He was really running tight on time as when he came out to win, like, the other person was going to come out. So it just seemed like a weird timing situation, so maybe he had to haul ass because maybe something happened backstage. I honestly couldn't tell you. The timing didn't bother me that much. I did think it was weird that he wasn't rolled out, but I don't think that it really took away that much from it. Especially, I mean, if it made it seem predictable that he was going to be the guy that won, he didn't. So I don't know if that predictability bothered me.
He wasn't one of the final two, which was also what everyone would assume. So I mean, yeah, that's the
that part shocks me. Having Triple H handily toss him out before Ambrose was, I think I literally gasped at that. It was pretty awesome.
But it made sense because people really were going to be behind Ambrose versus Triple H, whereas the other one, you had the cynical fans who are still going to be rooting.
Dean had the best night. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, hell of a match, hell of a performance in the Rumble. To be standing there with Triple H at the end.
Look, I wouldn't be surprised if, when all this Fastlane is said and done, Dean Ambrose is your guy that wins that match.
I mean, they certainly
Like,
set up him very, very strong. You know?
Like, I really think we're going towards a Brock Lesnar Bray Wyatt match at WrestleMania, which takes him out of the equation there. And I really think the story that's going to be told in that match is how Ambrose and Reigns really mesh in there, and if it's like them trying to eliminate Lesnar and then take each other out in the spirit of competition, or if we see one of them turn on the other between then. I mean, let's not forget, like, this is the WWE title at WrestleMania against Triple H.
I mean,
like, look, WWE needed a big match, and this is a big match for that pay-per-view.
The question I have is, Dean Ambrose is still Intercontinental Champion, so...
Why doesn't he care about his title?
Yeah, well, not that per se, but he's defending it. He's not defending it at Fastlane, Dale, so, like,
You don't know that.
And why would you spend all this time to build a program about Roman Reigns and then lead to your main #1 pay-per-view and not have Roman Reigns in that spot, though?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Plans change. You realize you made a bad choice. I mean, that could be one reason.
A 9-month bad choice. I don't see it going that
Ever
way.
heard
I
of
think
people
you
having a
had Vince
baby
involved with the
unexpected?
storyline. You had Triple H injured by him, and now Triple H is the champ. I would be shocked if it didn't go to Roman Reigns. Maybe Ambrose, maybe something weird goes down at Fastlane, and it remains, Triple H with Reigns and Ambrose. I mean, that could be something.
Triple threat
happening. But I don't see this being being Ambrose versus Triple H. That'd be a very odd swerve.
It's a bummer that this wasn't executed with Rollins. That this couldn't have all played out, and Rollins getting the face turn, and then Triple H win the title. Like, all this playing out with him and all that storyline built. It's a shame that that's not the case.
Who knows what'll happen when he does return? But I mean,
When is Rollins due back?
It's going to be a while.
Yeah,
he's been out
post WrestleMania, but I mean, you never know. It would be great if we could at least get his involvement somewhere along the way. Maybe he's not healthy, but maybe he can poke his nose in and mess up things for Reigns or for Triple H or whatever. To
Special
set up when
guest
he is
referee
healthy.
at Fastlane.
I think they're going to be very careful with bringing him back, just because he had such a great run as the very top guy that when they bring him back, they want to make sure he's completely healthy. He's got a long future with the company.
Well, yeah, the surgery he had is 9 months minimum, even though he's been doing rehab like a machine.
That's long surgery. My God,
it's a long surgery, man.
It's a long time to be opened up.
It's a long time to be opened up. Mm-hmm.
That's longer than Curtis Axel was in the Royal Rumble.
Oh, well, that's a good point.
The shades are off!
So, yeah, I mean, plus, I don't think Ambrose and Owens is done. I mean, that last man standing match was absolutely incredible, and the ending was phenomenal. So I feel like that could be a WrestleMania match again. Just another stipulation for the IC title.
I feel like that needs
phenomenal
to be
indeed. I think Phenomenal could be involved in that title match also.
Hey,
with Kevin Owens tossing him out.
You picked up what I was putting down.
I think Kevin Owens needs to be out of that IC title picture now. Like,
and do what?
Like, a last man standing is a end of a feud.
Usually,
that needs to be over, and Owens needs to be really pushed more towards the heavyweight title.
I mean, yeah, but
it's a crowded picture right there, right now, though. And if he's not going to get in before WrestleMania, then why not have him go for the second most important?
And plus, they got to build other matches.
Yeah,
I'm all for Kevin Owens versus Undertaker. That's what I'd like to see.
Do you think? Are we seeing Undertaker at WrestleMania
at a 100,000-seat arena?
Yeah,
where the tickets aren't
in
sold out.
Texas.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Point taken.
He was doing house shows in Mexico like 2 months ago. You don't think he's going to be
all right? Point taken. I'm just saying it is after the Rumble, and
yeah, I think absolutely, and he needs somebody to go with, and he clearly likes guys that challenge him and that bring out athletic matches in him. I think Owens is a perfect candidate.
It would be interesting. I mean, I don't want to see Bray again.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see somebody new.
I really think you're going to see Bray Brock.
Great. I want to see somebody. If Taker's coming out again, I just don't want to see something part 2 or 3.
Right.
The promo.
I don't want to see him in
when you rarely see him, you want to see the next new thing.
Right.
The promos between Bray Wyatt and Paul Heyman. Yes, please.
Let's do this!
So on board. Dalio, how's your time looking?
Yeah, I should probably head out.
Dalio.
Enjoy your Japanese treats, fellas, and yeah, I think this is going to be a good road to WrestleMania season, no matter what happens.
I'll make sure I send pictures of me eating them and send them to you.
Dale has plenty of pictures of people
weird,
eating Japanese treats.
So Dale, anything we could put over, anything we can say, anything you would like to say to the stratosphere out there?
like wrestling.
Find him on Twitter at TheWalkingDale.
I got a puppet. I got a puppy? Bad news.
All right. See you, Dale.
Johnny,
Okay.
Bye,
Scott.
guys.
What's up?
I got a question I want to pose at y'all.
Okay. What's the question?
It's my open conversation for the week.
Mm-hmm.
So we've talked about AJ Styles.
The Chuck Rice Open Challenge.
We've talked about AJ Styles and some of the people that are in WWE now that we would like to see him face off against.
Yeah.
But I think with Austin Aries signing with WWE this week, with AJ Styles signing with WWE this week, with them almost having signed, James Storm, there seems to be a lot of attention on the talent that have come through TNA. And there's still a very talented roster down there that a lot of them seem to be just stagnant or not being used correctly. If there was one person that you guys would like to see right now that is still on the TNA roster, come back to WWE, sign with WWE for the first time, who would that be?
For the first time or again?
Doesn't matter.
That's a different question.
You get
whoever is in TNA right now.
You got a claw machine. You got a claw machine, right? You're
Right.
plucking one TNA.
I mean, who
person.
doesn't want to see Angle for one more time?
All right, so look.
If I
Let's
get
take
to choose
Angle.
one, I'm not picking Angle.
Let's take Angle off the table. Let's say that we all know Angle will. Let's hope, end back up in WWE at some point, whether it's to accept a Hall of Fame or something. When he's done with TNA, which is in about a week or two. That's when his last match is. That's what they're advertising. That's what it is. That's all I know.
Sure.
But if there's so take Angle out of the equation.
Maybe he'll take a vacation.
Who would you like to see? Who would you like to see from TNA in WWE right now?
I'll tell you who I'll go with. I like Mike Bennett a lot. I think he's young. I think he's interesting. I think he's athletic. I think he needs more time.
Okay.
I like what they're
No,
doing.
but this is someone that's ready right now. Like if you could pluck him.
But that's
right
who
now.
I want most. This is my pick because I see him most. But I want to see.
But would you take him and put him in NXT?
I wouldn't put him. Yeah, I'd put him in NXT. I wouldn't put him on the main roster.
But
I don't think he's ready for that.
And we'll get to this. But I mean, I think what he's doing right now with Impact is good.
Does he bring his manager with him?
Well, yeah,
she's from my hometown, so
I feel like she has to go with
Maria's
him.
fantastic, and the Miracle Mike Bennett. I'm digging the character so far. I like what they came up with.
I think look, he's somebody that a year of character work, a year of television work, he's going to be somebody that's going to fit in great in the WWE. Whether he gets it on NXT or whether he gets it where TNA where he's at, he's bigger than you think.
All right,
he's athletic.
All right, Narver, who do you take?
Eric Young.
Ooh.
Hands down. That guy has delivered in every single thing that they've given him. He reminds me of Christian. Who's one of my favorite guys. Christian did everything. Christian was funny. Christian was serious. Christian played every role.
Eric Young is such a good heel.
And he's serious. He's comedic. Like, he can do everything. And that guy can go.
Oh.
And he really needs that spotlight to be appreciated on the main stage at least once.
That's a... Yeah,
you took the words right out of my mouth, so I'm gonna have to come up with a different one when I ask the question. I use my the force, your chopsticks.
Well, I got a couple. I mean,
you get one, Johnny.
No, I'm just saying. Okay.
What if it's a tag team?
No tag team.
I would love to see Anderson get another run because I feel like he really had just bad luck last time. That injury right when he was about to win the title, it didn't work out.
Got hurt wrestling him.
Yeah,
I don't want to see
Vince's son.
I don't want to see Ken back in WWE, and the only reason for that is because I do not think they will ever use him the way he should be used. I think at least at TNA, despite whatever the situations are, he's going to always have more freedom to do his character the way he wants to.
I think if he goes back to WWE, the crowd is going to push him to give him more freedom because they will react. He has catchphrases they will react to him, and that will give him the freedom. But you're right; they will try to put him in a bad spot.
They have a handful of smack talkers, which is lacking, and Kevin Owens is one, and Anderson would be another great one.
So right off the top, that's what I'd like to say. But you give your answer, then I'll give mine.
Scott, my first answer would have been Eric Young because I think hands down Eric Young is the guy that of any of the non-WWE talent out there right now, I think he is hands down one of the best. You can put him in a program with anyone, like you said, Scott, and he will deliver, whether it's heel, babyface, comedic, anything. But the other person I think that they need to bring back to WWE is a tie between EC3.
Well,
so you told Johnny you could only pick one, and you picked
it's my question.
You son of a bitch!
It's my question. I'm allowed to do it how I want.
Good one, Scotty.
But I'd say Jeff Hardy.
Really?
He just signed a new deal with TNA.
Not Willow?
They announced it
No,
today.
not Willow.
Like literally, they announced today.
TNA's deals mean nothing to me.
Just saying.
TNA's deals are like
Just
the
saying.
toilet paper I wipe my ass on.
Okay, let's not go there.
Oh, soft.
That legal pad, really?
Look, sign a deal with TNA, whatever. There's so many. Never mind. Just look. It's a hypothetical anyway.
Yes.
I want to see Jeff Hardy back in WWE one more time.
With what happened on Impact this past week, I want to see EC3 continue his path because
I do too.
Which we'll get into. I'm very excited to talk about the match between him and Hardy because what they did was something that was very hard to do, and I think they did it pretty damn effectively. So my choice would be, obviously I already said Anderson. A lot of fans would say immediately Bobby Roode, the guy's a machine, of course. But for me, for personality purposes, for how he's developed in just the last 2 years, Rockstar Spud.
Oh, crap, I forgot about
Huge
Spud.
fan.
Where do you think Spud would fit in WWE, though?
I don't know.
He would be the
Manager?
younger guy.
Manager?
I mean, he would be Santino Morella. He would be,
Kalisto
Could
now.
he be the guy that Brad Maddox was supposed to be and just failed at?
I mean, I love Maddox, but I think Rockstar Spud is such an engaging personality, and you want to. He was a good heel, but you want to root for that guy.
Yeah.
And I don't mean this in a disparaging way, but the role that he played in TNA, if you just repeated that in WWE, where he's the lackey for
him and EC3,
the boss.
Oh, so good.
If he's Triple H's lackey, if he's Vince's
Could
lackey,
he be the Tajiri to William Regal?
I love Tajiri, but he could be even bigger.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the storyline they had, yes, and very good English, old English almost,
Proper English.
proper English. Yeah, I think those are all really good choices, and who knows what'll happen down the road. But let's go back WWE, then we'll hit over Impact. 'Cause there's a lot of stuff to talk about there. But Becky Lynch and Charlotte. Now Sasha Banks returns. I'm so on board with whatever the hell is going on between these three. Becky Lynch, like you mentioned last week, stepped her game up to a crazy level on the mic, which we knew she had it in her. It's just she needed the opportunities. She's bringing it. Charlotte is acting like she's acting like
a Flair.
Okay,
Flair.
Can we talk about that for a second before we talk about Sasha and this?
Sure.
I'm a Charlotte fan. I like her.
But
this, to me, I feel like she's trying to be Ric Flair too much. And it's not quite working for me. I feel that Becky has stolen the show in their program.
I agree with you in the start, but I think she's picked up on her own Flair nuances in like the last Raw before the Rumble and at the Rumble. It's tough because she's been put in a tough spot.
I agree.
She's having to learn how to be something I don't think she naturally is.
I am the man.
She's got to be the man.
Yeah.
Got to be the woman.
But I think she's getting there. And the reason Becky outshined her in this program is because Becky's awesome.
I agree.
And Becky's character is more engaging, and she's more. And I think that she was supposed to outshine her in this. Obviously,
That's how you build stars.
Yeah, that's how
I
you
just don't like the idea, and I love them bringing Sasha into this. I think that Sasha belongs in the title hunt. I think that at WrestleMania, Sasha should win the title. But I hate to think that maybe this pushes Becky out of the title picture because I think
this is leading to a triple threat at WrestleMania.
I really hope so because I think that Becky is the second strongest to Sasha in their women's division.
Right, but what I love about this, if this leads to a triple threat at WrestleMania, this is one of those matches where you look at the three of them, any one of the three could win, and you'd be like, all right, and Becky could be the surprise in the three. Because, I mean, I love what Charlotte did on Monday Night Raw. She destroyed them both and then stood high with that title.
Yep.
Freaking awesome.
Yeah, I mean, this is another case of every match on Sunday night's card. To me, it was one of the best pay-per-views outside of WrestleMania we've seen in
a
years.
long time.
In years, and there was no match where you can go, okay, that one was
SummerSlam 2014 was phenomenal. That was when Lesnar destroyed.
Yeah.
I mean, we were there, so maybe it was, but for all intents and purposes, everyone said start to finish.
But I mean, that still had. I mean, it had a Stephanie match, which was okay, but it was
special.
It was special. It was an attraction.
Yeah.
But I mean, this one from beginning to end was
Top notch.
And Kalisto on this one is just established himself. He's the man.
He is, and I think that they were very smart about how they're positioning him, and I think that they're. They know that they need
this needs to lead to a best of 7 finally. Like I want this. It needs to happen. Like they've given me back and forth with them so much. Give me my best of 7 series.
And Kalisto's a guy who's happy with his title and is not going after the world title. There's a guy appreciates he won one and he's good.
2 Mexican Americans fighting over the U.S. title.
It's great, but their styles are they couldn't be further apart from each other. And ADR is so stiff and so powerful, and Kalisto is just fast enough to get out of the way. I think having a best of 7 is something that could be.
Well, and Kalisto, I think, is one of these guys where he can have a good match with anybody. He's not so tiny that he's a little bit bigger than what Ray was, so Ray would just get tossed around by anybody.
Right.
He can move with some guys. He's not.
Kalisto, so
He's
the
a
difference
hero.
between Ray and Kalisto to me is like, and I've always had this qualm with Ray. He was very talented, very entertaining. The things he could do in the ring, no one could do.
Right.
But he always got put into these matches against people like Big Show, or JBL, or Kane, or whatever. Like these big fucking dudes.
Yeah. Or even like Randy is Big Show to him.
And he would look like, and he would just like some of the things that they would do though, and then he would win. It just frustrated me because I was like, look, I get it. We are supposed to be able to disengage from the reality of it and just enjoy it, but there's some things where you just can't watch and be like, that's realistically on any planet. I don't care if we're in the fucking DC multiverse, that would never happen on any of the planets.
So Kalisto beating Ryback is not okay?
No, it's okay. It's because Kalisto is just like a bigger looking dude in a sense to me.
He moves different than
He
Ray.
moves different. He moves like a big guy.
Right. But he still has the ability to do a little high flying and a little spinning and a little.
Yeah.
But that's not his only moveset like it is with Ray. And not to say that Ray is one dimensional. Ray is great.
Kalisto's a more realistic Rey Mysterio.
If Kalisto is trading chops or punches with somebody, I buy that more than I do with Ray trading punches with somebody.
I think Kalisto is a hero, and I think he's the hero they're looking for Mexico.
Yeah.
For that fan base, I really do. I mean,
they don't have.
What's not to love about him?
And there's they need to compete in those areas, and they don't have somebody to headline a show in South Texas on the B sort of house show circuit. They don't have that. And
Kalisto can be that guy.
Absolutely.
Yep. So no doubt about that. But there's a lot of stuff to be excited for. I mean,
Johnny, can we talk about
what
another group for a minute?
No, we can. I mean, I just want to say one more thing. Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Sasha Banks thrown into the fold. Wow. I really, it's going to be fun to see the next 2 months how that plays out. But I would love to see a triple threat at WrestleMania.
Charlotte's in a good spot because they're chasing after her, so Charlotte can be who she is, and those other ones are really trying to showcase themselves while Charlotte's established.
Plus, not a commentary.
Plus, don't forget, Paige is the wild card. Paige could be involved.
I don't think, I kind of hope she doesn't get involved. I really like this right now. Yeah. I think it's one of those things, don't complicate it more than it needs to be. You've got a really good dynamic right now. These three are going to be able to tear it apart.
I think I might know what group you want to talk about.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I didn't think I'd ever hear the word penis on Raw that many times.
Still your tag team champions.
Got him.
That was so fun.
How great were they with The Rock?
Oh my God.
I wasn't a fan.
You weren't a fan?
No, I mean, I love both of them, but I think the segment wore on a little too much. They didn't get to the point a little more.
Well, that's a lot of riffing.
It's a lot of riffing, and part of it was when they first came out, I was like, this is going to be amazing. This is going to be the best 5 minutes of TV, and then it was pretty good 3 minutes, and then it was 10 minutes more. But it was I thought it could have been so much better. And the thing is with The Rock coming back, and I love The Rock, it doesn't feel as special as normal. It doesn't feel as big when he's just walking through the backstage doing Rock things.
See, I dug that though.
I loved it when he said to The Miz, "Hey, park my car." Come on, that.
Hey, you all right?
But
you all right?
Pre-Rock and then Twitter Rock, Vine Rock.
Yeah.
Like we're watching all the social
Instant
media
Rock.
version of Rock to then be introduced into the reality of wrestling Rock. Like, what is happening? Like, we're getting all of this at once. It just doesn't feel. It was an overload of the guy. When he is so special.
Yeah, but you're going to have to, if you want to see The Rock on WWE TV anymore and you want to see The Rock involved, you have to accept that he's not going to do it unless he's allowed to placate to his social media following.
You're not giving him a script. He's going off book. Look, I thought when he went down to the front row and talked to the cosplayers, I thought that was hilarious. He talked about...
And took his selfie with them?
Yeah. Oh, no, and he commented on how the guy dressed up as Hulk Hogan was stoned. I mean, that was hilarious. But at the same time, I was so excited for that segment, and when they had their confrontation, I was a little let down.
I mean, I must have missed that part because they must have cut it out of the Hulu.
They probably did.
They probably did.
He was talking to
he went down. There was cosplayers in the front row, and he went down and said, "Oh, we're going off script now." And he went down and interviewed.
As a matter of fact,
several
he
cosplayers.
said,
"That's amazing."
The script.
And then he went down to the.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and he commented, like, they were obviously intoxicated. And
I was cracking up when he was backstage with Lana, and she couldn't keep a straight face.
Nobody could. The thing with Big Show was so
great.
funny.
Big Show was.
That's also
funny.
one of the best Royal Rumble moments ever, by the way. So I'm glad that they gave a little homage to that.
I just love the fact that Big Show was holding like an old PC laptop. Just snapped it in two.
Is that a Hewlett Packard?
I think it may have been.
I love that we got a Scorpion King reference.
Yeah. I mean, I really... And then New Day was just on fire with the references. They did like was it a Rikishi reference?
Guys, do you think...
Did it for the paycheck or something?
Do you think we could be getting maybe a New Day versus Usos and Rock match at WrestleMania?
It's possible.
I mean, I know I've heard a lot of stuff about this insurance thing where Rock can't wrestle, but if he's basically
He gave a rock bottom last night.
That was his last movie. He's good now, I think.
No, it was, his next movie was supposed to be... He's shooting Ballers right now, and they don't mind him doing it. But when it gets to Mania, he's shooting another one that has insurance issues.
Let me
or
ask
they
you
could
a
be trolling
question.
us all.
You don't think that if there really was an insurance issue, Vince McMahon couldn't afford to take care of it?
I also think that Rock's a big enough star that he can dictate what he wants to do and say, no, I don't really care.
Because I feel
production, pay the
I
extra
feel
money.
like that's what we're building towards is an Usos and Rock versus New Day for the tag titles, and Usos are going to win that.
Oh my God! So it's a 6-man tag.
Right, but Rock doesn't need the tag titles. He's just there to help the family.
If there's any way for the New Day to lose the titles,
that's the way to do it.
That's the way to do it, and they've had a hell of a run.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they would not look weak losing in a match with The Rock involved.
Let me call somebody.
That'd be a hell of a hot tag.
And that's a great way to use The Rock, too, where you still use him in a big enough marquee match.
Yeah.
It elevates that match from potential like opener to a big match.
On the card. Makes the tag titles really mean something on WrestleMania.
My question is, will Rock only want to do that? Because
let him do whatever the fuck he wants. But give us that.
But will that be big enough for his star to shine? I mean, he's headlined the last 2 times he's been back. He hosted the year, and then
Here's
he
the
did his
thing.
prize pop in.
I don't think and maybe I'm just totally misreading Rock. I don't think he would care to be like at that point. I think it would be like, hey, this is my family.
Yeah.
This is the hottest.
I think he cares about being be doing something that's important.
Look, let's not
I think that is
negate
special though with family instead of. I don't think Rock has to be one on one.
Family. Rock's big on family, and 2, you can make an argument that the New Day is some of the biggest stars in WWE right now. Look, every week they come out there, they have a new T-shirt. They all sell like crazy. And we know that merchandise sells for WWE is a big way that they gauge the star power.
We got to get Xavier back because we haven't had him on since New Day has really exploded.
Bro, he's busy.
I know. That's true.
He's got a wife. He's got Francesca to take care of. He's got Francesca too.
Yeah.
He's got Francesca too. He's still in mourning.
That's sad.
Yeah.
The guy's a busy guy. He's working on his doctorate.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing video games.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's true.
I mean,
I think that would be a great way to have The Rock do a match without necessarily it being one-on-one.
Yeah. Especially if there is some restriction on what he can do. He can
and it's the perfect way to
he
hide
can be
that.
the enforcer. He can come in and do a Rock bottom.
But it's the perfect way to hide that too, and in a way that does something we haven't had yet when the New Day wrestles.
Oh, it's evening the odds.
It neutralizes the odds.
And New Day's had the titles for 6 months because of the numbers game. This is the way to equalize it. That'd be
plus, I just really want to see Big Mama in the ring with The Rock.
That would be great.
Oh, was it Big Mama? Talking about Big E?
Yeah, he kept calling him Big Mama.
Did he?
They called him a lot of things. I think that they let the censorship go on that.
The Hulk and Urkel?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, I have never heard or thought I would ever hear the word penis that many times on Monday Night Raw.
The crowd chanted it.
Yeah. Great moments. Let's see what else we got. AJ Styles and Chris Jericho. I mean, that's a pay-per-view match right there, but we saw it on Raw, and it was...
That match just needed to be like... The only problem with it was that it wasn't 30 minutes longer.
It was great.
I said this earlier, and it may have been more off mic, but it was a great way to introduce him as a wrestler in a singles capacity to the WWE Universe.
Is that our Mania match?
I don't know. I don't think so.
It's a Fastlane match, I think.
Yeah.
You never know how long Jericho's around.
Jericho and Ambrose is... I think the Intercontinental match at Mania.
Jericho and Ambrose.
Mm-hmm. Because
that's interesting.
Going back to when I can't remember the pay-per-view, but when it was Jericho, Reigns, and Ambrose against was it the Wyatts? It was whoever they lost against, and they brought in Jericho as the guy. Oh yeah, because it was Strowman.
Yeah.
And then Jericho brushed past Ambrose. He gave him the shoulder.
They would be good. They would be very, very good.
And then they had a little moment in the Rumble as well.
You're like the only person that will remember that. They don't trust us
I do.
to remember that.
Where you guys,
I remember that moment. Yeah. For sure.
I think that's how crafty Jericho
He was a
is.
sore loser.
Yeah.
But this is a great way, like I said, introduce him to the crowd as a singles competitor.
Rich, you're walking him to the ring, though, right?
What?
You're going to walk Jericho to the ring, right?
I haven't gotten the call yet, so I don't want to be presumptuous. But I think AJ, they'll have something bigger planned for him. I think that otherwise they wouldn't have given it away his first night in. This was look who this guy is. Look what he can do. We'll give you a taste. We're not going to give you the Styles Clash. We're not going to give you a 3-segment match because that's what you want. You're going to pay for that.
How worried were you guys when it's, here's AJ Styles, and the first thing we're going to do is let him talk like, ooh, no, put him in the ring. Ooh, God.
I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, he's not horrible on the mic.
No, I don't think he's terrible
great.
either, but it wasn't going to be the thing that was going to showcase, here's the great AJ Styles, just put him in the ring right away. Just have it be a segment. But I got a little scared at first. I didn't know if you guys felt that way at all. But I thought it was a great execution of Jericho.
Yeah. Oh, didn't you want to do what you're going to choose? I know.
We can do that.
Is it too late?
It kind of falls into play.
That's why I was wondering.
I wanted to know this week what you're going to choose, brother. Whose week would you have rather had? Would you rather have had AJ Styles' week or New Day's week? Because they were pretty amazing to be involved in the Rumble, retain onto those tag team championships in a great match, and then being with Rock the next night and getting all that notoriety, or being AJ Styles and, living the dream, and everybody seeing you on that big stage.
I'll give you my answer.
Okay.
The New Day has been building up to this last week for a long time, so they had a great week, but for AJ, this was throw him out into the deep end and see what happens, and what happened could not have gone any better. It really couldn't have. The reaction from the crowd, the match on Monday, he's established himself in 2 days as one of the most important people in that roster. The New Day thing has been building for a year almost now, and it's great, and they had a really good week, and getting into the ring with The Rock has to be a dream come true for Xavier. That he was smiling from ear to ear on the inside when he was having that confrontation. It was great. But I think that he had the better week just because, or better 2 days, just because, he answered any questions. Vince can't say, well, no one knows who he is. Vince can't say they're not going to react to him because he did. And he did it in 2 days.
If it's me, I'm going to take AJ's week because, one, I think that right now, early on, we don't know how they're going to keep using AJ. So we don't know if he's going to have as many great weeks like this. It's like some guys come in hot and then they don't get used right. New Day's had awesome weeks every week. And I truly think, too, if I'm looking at it from if I had to place myself in the shoes of these guys, whose week would I want? AJ's, because the leading up that nervousness and anticipation probably only made that euphoric feeling when he fucking just killed
Slowly walked to the ring while 18,000 people went crazy.
Yeah, I just think that feeling would beat any high I could get from anything else in life. Yeah. So that must have been the most natural high that you could ever feel.
That's why I went for it.
There you go. Both good answers. From a culmination of career perspective, I mean, AJ is obviously a great choice because you just respect everything he's done and what he's going to continue to do now that he's finally in WWE. So that's, from a personal perspective, as someone who's been doing, stand-up for so many years and hosting, still waiting for a certain moment, I get that. But from a comedic perspective, I salivate at the kind of freedom that New Day has.
Yeah.
We've got that photo of Xavier and Rock up there.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Which is,
That's one you put on your wall.
That's great.
And I don't what your choice is, Scotty, but for me, I'm going to say New Day just because, from the comedy perspective, from the freedom to literally write your own script, knowing that The Rock would stand toe to toe with you, and knowing that you would get your comeuppance, it's just, that's one of those moments where the three of them must have got backstage and be like, did that just happen?
Well, they must have got there that day and sort of talked to creative and just go, wait, really?
Yeah.
Tonight?
What? Huh?
You're kidding.
What, really?
Got him.
It couldn't happen to someone who deserves it more too.
Oh yeah.
I think for me,
the
my biggest problem, if there is one, if I have to pick one, which there really isn't with New Day, is that I just wish I could see more Xavier Woods break out as a singles guy at some point.
But that's the thing, is all the stuff he's doing now is going to set up a long singles career for him.
Yep.
and people are going
I think
Or a
Xavier
manager.
Woods.
Yeah.
I think Xavier Woods, if used properly down the line, and is used and executed in the next couple years in the right way, he could be a contender for a championship.
Perhaps, but I also think guys like him and The Miz can be long-term managers down the road.
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
he can really work. He can move.
Oh, yeah.
And he's very athletic and still very young and still fresh.
And we got and you know what? While we're talking about New Day, we got to give a shout out too to the spot they had in the Rumble where Big E caught Kofi.
Yeah.
And they were eating some popcorn.
They always find their Kofi moment.
Mr. Royal Rumble.
Now, do you have a choice, brother?
I mean, looking at the photo too of AJ Styles and Jericho there, it's so great to see that not only does he have that entrance at the Rumble and get that moment, but then the next night they don't. It's you're not going to be putting a joke match. You're not going to be putting a squash match. They respect the fact that it's like, all right, we know who would be a good opponent for you, and we're going to run with you. But it's like you said, Johnny. It's its own championship when you get to work with Undertaker at WrestleMania. It's its own championship, really, when you get to be in a segment with The Rock. And when they look at you and you go, like, you've delivered all year, there'd be nothing better than to put you guys together.
Yeah.
And I really would go with New Day's week. Because they proved it wrestling.
I figured you would, too.
And that's just all the butterflies.
Yeah.
And that was What You Gonna Choose, brother. All right, Impact. Got to talk about this. Then we're going to get into the Flo Rida versus Bo Rida rap battle review, and that's how we're gonna close out Starizone. So I'll tell you what, this past week of Impact was outstanding. All the matches were really good. Good storytelling. Gail Kim versus Awesome Kong. Wow. I mean, Gail Kim did a crossbody off the top ropes to the outside to take out the Dollhouse. She overcame Awesome Kong and the entire Dollhouse to defend her title. Just amazing work. Go back and watch that match if you haven't seen it. Kudos to all the women involved, especially Gail Kim and Kong. But the storytelling between Matt Hardy and EC3, the whole episode they were building up, last man standing. It was title versus career. Matt Hardy, if he loses, he's out of there. And, of course, Hardy's there with his wife and his little baby. And, Jeff Hardy is putting him over and saying, I have faith in you. You can do this. Tonight you're going to be the new champion. Even though I'm nervous, you're going to do this. And throughout the match, they did the classic, which hasn't been done often. It was Stone Cold did it with Brett.
Yeah.
This is kind of what happened. As the match went on, Matt Hardy even said earlier in the night, he goes, I'm telling you, Jeff, there's something that I still have to get out of me. There's a villain inside of me that is going to stand toe-to-toe with EC3. And throughout the match, he started doing more and more evil stuff, from low blows, did a twist of fate off the apron onto tables, then got EC3's head locked into a chair, did a twist of fate with his neck in the damn chair, which elicited blood from EC3's mouth. It looked frightening, especially when his head's locked, and it looked really terrifying. Then Tyrus comes down. We're thinking, he's going to defend EC3.
Or call Matt Hardy's mama.
Or call Matt Hardy's mama. Does basically his version of a big ending to EC3, which completely, that was then that wasn't quite the final straw. Then, in perfect symbolism, Matt Hardy grabs the title and clocks EC3 in the head. He's out, just on his back. Matt Hardy pins him for the 1-2-3. It was a last man standing, no DQ. Matt Hardy's the new champion. And then him and Tyrus just stood over him. And then Reby Sky comes over and spits in his face.
It was great. Go ahead.
Oh, what'd the baby do? Did the baby do something? The baby did a little crotch chop?
It did.
Yeah, it did.
Well, you can
That's
suck
what
this.
happened. Oh, boy.
It was a great match, and Matt Hardy really impressed me.
Me too.
When he is engaged creatively, you forget how good he really is.
And his what he said on the
He
mic
must have played
after
some
he
grapes
won
before.
was great.
Yeah.
It's the best Matt Hardy has spoken since being in TNA. Like what he said as the heel champion afterwards, live in the ring, was phenomenal.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Here's my problem. I'm sorry, I have a problem with it.
I know,
and
that
I
should
do.
be the segment.
Well, whatever.
Here's
my
my
problem. Here, you know what? And I'm just bitter towards TNA this week. I really am. And
This
I think,
week?
well, more so than normal. And I've tried to support them.
mad
Okay,
now.
look, they just looked.
That's going to be the new segment. Chuck Rice starring in.
You got me mad now.
Fine. I mean, look. Here's the bottom line. you have TNA that this is a phenomenal match, but then you have Matt Hardy. As soon as this news about AJ Styles broke, TNA put out a press release. Did y'all see the press release that they put out?
It said congratulated Styles, right?
That was
One
not the
before that.
message. That was not the message of the press release, even if it was congratulating Styles.
They put out a tweet congratulating him on Sunday. Last week they put out a press release.
They put out a
saying
press
that they
release
had
about how,
tried
like,
to re-sign him and they
how he-
agreed to terms and
They agreed
then,
and all this stuff, and they just looked really lowbrow, and it was like, it's just one of those things from a PR standpoint that I thought was really pathetic on their part.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you add a lot of their talent, including Matt Hardy, who I like. Work with Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy is a friend. Nothing, I just think that the tweet that he put out talking about how, like, Styles, I think it was something to the effect, and don't quote me, I don't remember exactly, but it was about, like, well, they better be happy they're there anyway because I'm the man here kind of
That's
thing.
him in
And-
character, though.
That's him in
like-
character, especially with what happened.
That's
and then
him
you
in
had-
character.
And then you had Shane Helms, who is a friend of yours, has been on our show, and he tweets out, he's like, I just want to point out that when I was at WWE, I told them to sign all these people. It just makes TNA look like they're, like, whining and complaining.
But that's just Shane being
That's just Shane
himself.
being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And that's fine too, but I think just the culmination of it made me look at TNA and I was like, don't worry about them.
See, I
worry
know-
about you. Do you.
but
And
Matt-
Shane has been friends with AJ. Shane introduced
Yeah.
me to AJ, and he's not kidding. When he was on the bench there with his neck injury, he said, "Look at all these other guys that are out there doing NWA Wild Side." And he talked about Joe, and he talked about all guys that are there
and then
now.
that's fine. That's fine. And then for them being individuals, that's fine. But I thought that press release was completely inappropriate.
Whatever, yeah.
I thought that it made them look very
like sour
lowbrow.
grapes.
You
Right.
didn't see like, and I'm not saying Ring of Honor is on the same level as WWE or maybe even TNA in some people's minds, but you didn't see them put out a press release like
Ring
that.
of Honor's always been, first class, the way they operate. And you're
But
right.
that lighting, though.
Fix the lighting.
Gotta slow down.
Fix the
Sale.
lighting.
Sorry.
It's like you have this great stuff, and TNA is capable of doing this amazing stuff.
Which
So
they did.
do it.
They did, but what
focus
Chuck's
on that.
saying is that them putting out the press release overshadows a little bit how great that program
Which
was.
that may be so, but as far as the tweets from Matt Hardy, that was in character. I'm cool. That's fine.
Fine, scratch that from my argument. That press release there's just no reason that a press release like that should ever go out.
Agreed. But the way they did this match, where literally you went from EC3, who his entire run the last couple of years has been scumbag, spoiled brat, rich kid. No one likes him. He thinks he's better than everyone else. And in a matter of a 20-25 minute match, Matt Hardy went from an evil, desperate, knowing he's got a short run left in his career, villain who will do anything it takes, including incapacitating someone. And then EC3, all of a sudden he's the sympathetic.
Well, I think that they think
Cheer hero.
EC3 is their rock because he is so good on the mic.
And so many people were cheering for him. I think the timing was right.
Yeah.
Now people can really get behind EC3.
And they were having him do more catchphrasey type stuff the last couple of months. It was still in character as a jerk, but it was the more that stuff is funny, the more the crowd laughs at it, the more they're going to like him. And they were sort of peppering it in there more and more, and you could tell Tyrus and he weren't getting along for whatever reason, and they've sort of been curving this way a tiny bit, but like you said, to do it as quickly as they did in a 20-minute match is really hard to pull off, and they did a good job.
They did a good job, and especially you want to make things happen when you move to a new network.
Yeah.
This is week 3. And there are other good moments. Eli Drake and Jesse Goddard's feuding with Beer Money. That's a fun feud back and forth because, they're all decent on the mic, And
Hey, kudos to them for re-signing Storm too.
There you go.
Big for them.
There you go. And then
They should put out a press release.
I'm surprised they haven't.
And then we got Miracle Mike Bennett, and actually he defeated Pepper Parks, who I've worked with before, and he's a great guy. So.
Yeah, and like I said earlier in the show, I really like Mike Bennett. I think he will very quickly become very important to their show.
And Maria's a great
Yeah.
person to have there.
Yeah.
She's really good, and she's awesome.
She's not too hard on the eyes either.
No, not whatsoever. But yeah, man.
Johnny, have you had any conversation with Nigel or anyone? Like, I'm curious to know, like, kind of where Ring of Honor is going to stand after all this. They lose someone like him, then you have, these guys like that they had this partnership with, New Japan, and they're
who they scout.
I think you go back to the well and you find the unknown.
I mean,
talents.
you still got like guys like the Briscoes and Jay Lethal and a bunch of other homegrown talent, but it's just like, damn, that's got to be a big blow for them.
Well, they also did a thing about a year ago where their talent could no longer do shows outside of Ring of Honor. They wouldn't let them come out here.
They have more some of them do have contracts now.
Yeah, and I just think that they got to open it back up and go out there and find, because NXT's been doing a better job of finding talent than they have, and TNA has. They've been going out there to guys that you see on the independent circuit.
I'm telling you, someone needs to sign Marty Scurll.
Yeah.
That's a guy that needs to get signed like yesterday.
Yeah. There's a lot of
Prince
people.
Puma, or there's a lot of people out there that are really talented. That if
people have had their eyes on Ricochet forever.
Yeah, and why he could go in and be a big impact on Ring of Honor tomorrow.
Well, if he's not there, there's a reason for it. Whether it's his choice or someone else's choice.
Look, I stand by it. You sign someone like Marty Scurll. He's come out here the last couple of months and done PWG, blowing the roof off. You know, like people are starting to. He was on TNA's British Boot Camp. Was it the first or the second one? Or?
I don't remember which one, but yeah, he was on one of those.
I think which was the one that Spud was on.
One.
So Marty was on that one. He was fabulous. This guy is the best heel in the UK.
Great.
So someone needs to sign him.
Ring of Honor is going to be good. I don't know much about the new cable network. I don't even have cable right now, but I'm still trying to stay on top of everything, and I think they're going to be fine. Hopefully the TV deal works out for them. With that said, it is now time to give our official review of the Flo Rida versus Bo Rida rap battle.
Worst segment ever.
No, only for one person.
Yes.
I will say this.
A star was made and a star was burned and buried and shat up on the ground. And
look, as a traditional hip-hop fan, I love rap music. I love everything about
So you don't
rappers.
like Flo Rida?
I can't stand it.
If you had a hip-hop name, Johnny, what would your hip-hop name be?
Oh, well, one of the characters on my comedy album is Loke Quasto. That's my gangster cousin.
Okay.
Yeah. I also have
Could he rap battle better than Flo Rida?
Oh, yeah. He would have crushed Flo Rida.
Well, let's hear it.
I'm not going to do it right now. I'm not going to freestyle right now.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, that's what freestyling's all about, Johnny.
I didn't say it was a
Give him a beat.
freestyle. I said Loke Quasto is a writer and a rapper.
All right, so give us a little sample.
Sounds like
I'll play a song next week for my album.
No, do it now, freestyle.
Will you prepare?
If you guys were friends, you would have listened to it.
Will you prepare?
Oh, you mean the album that I bought from you on the thing? Yeah, I have that one.
Oh, there you go. You do
seen
have
the
that
video.
one. Thank you.
Yeah.
Will you please prepare a rap battle for next week against Flo Rida?
Are we going to get a hold of him?
Just
We
play
might.
the MP3.
We'll send out.
He's probably available now.
Chuck will send out a press release.
Okay.
I'll send out the press release.
Good. We'll do it.
I'll get TNA's
Sweet.
PR
We'll do
staff to help me.
We'll do it. Make it happen. But yeah, let's get into it. Let's go piece by piece.
I
I just think
face.
I respect the fact that Flo Rida loves wrestling. He's done stuff before, but
Flo Rida loves a paycheck.
he's a good example to me. He's a good example of the current state of hip hop. There's a lot of substance and very little. He's a party anthem.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who's your favorite hip hop artist right now, Johnny?
Right now, I mean,
Right now.
Tone Loc?
I mean, there's no one better than Aesop Rock. I mean, he's not commercial, but find me someone who's better than Aesop Rock, and then I'll say, okay, that guy's better. But I still have yet to find anyone who's better lyricist than Aesop Rock.
I'm a 2 Chainz guy. I like 2 Chainz.
Oh, sure.
If Dale was here right now, he'd be yelling at us to talk wrestling.
Yeah, he would.
That's fine. Anyways, let's get into it.
Flo Rida was in the ring.
In a major way.
Okay, lackadaisical start, but then it gets better.
But I'd be upset too if I was named after this awful state.
Clown in Florida.
Pretty good. And he's got his buddies backing him up.
You need to channel your negativity in a more productive manner. You hold an ace high, but I have a full house. Like my name is Danny Tanner.
Drop that mic, Ro.
Shut out. Boom.
Then he's got the catchphrase.
We just need to talk about how great of a hype man Adam Rose is over there, like jumping around with the high knees and stuff, going crazy.
Adam's killer.
Him bickering with my man Curtis Axel all the time. It's pretty funny.
And dubbing the nickname Red Dragon for Heath Slater.
Sure.
That was great.
Come on, why not?
It looks like I found some friends.
And by the way, they made the Hulu cut.
They should have.
Really?
Yeah.
They did.
It's about time that they're no longer the Hulu outcasts.
Get better lighting.
By the way, they should make a shirt at Hulu Outcast.
The Hulu Outcasts
they could get that trending.
were R-Truth and Goldust.
Yes, that
Which was also wonderful. But
Can I ask you guys a question?
what?
Why is Damian Sandow not in this group?
Yet.
He did wrestle at the pre-show, which was strange.
Yeah.
In
With
time,
no
maybe.
build-up whatsoever.
You can't build the NWO like crazy like they did before. You gotta wait. You
So
gotta
he's going to
let
be
these guys.
social outcast.
Did you
Red.
guys see when Damian Sandow, like, they showed him on the stage a couple weeks ago leading up to the Royal Rumble, and
Yeah.
he was out there in his robe?
Yeah.
The the reaction on Twitter from that.
I know.
Of people going crazy for Damien Sandow. When he was on the pre-show, they were so excited.
Yeah.
Why? Like they're talking about, we need to build stars. We don't have enough talent to fill. Damien Sandow is a world heavyweight champion.
It might not be that easy
caliber
to answer.
talent.
We got a lot of guys being showcased right now. There's an overflux of talent. We got AJ Styles.
There's a flux capacitor of talent.
Find some room for Damien on there, please.
Yeah, make Raw 4 hours, says Chuck. Put out a press release.
Yeah.
You got me mad now.
So there was Bo Rida's rap, and now let's get into Flo Rida's
please no
retort.
With a sucker punch.
Oh, we're out of time.
Got away with a sucker punch. Sitting at my table, I'll eat a sucker's lunch.
Nom 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 nom.
What the hell did that mean?
Wrap my fist in your jaw. Feel my knuckles crunch.
Now it's starting to.
Cause see, battling me ain't fair. Just like Social Outcast trying to wrestle the Nature Boy Ric Flair.
What? Yeah, I don't know what any of these lines mean.
Boo!
He had no backup. His friends weren't there.
Right now, Scott's saying,
boo this man.
We're not done yet, Scotty. This is where it gets rough. He's paused. He can't come up. He's struggling.
He already is.
Curtis can't hurt this.
He couldn't remember his name.
You ain't just walking the 305. Cause you ain't got no skills.
Okay, we're already off track.
Tried to.
Welcome to Dudleyville.
Okay, that was the end game.
I mean, like,
is so awful.
Like what? Sorry, here's my question. What
that man's a professional musician.
You've got Rick Ross, the boss, in the back.
Yep.
You got Rick Ross there, and you don't have
Rick
him.
Ross is smart enough not to go out and embarrass himself.
We had a great time with an Access Live.
Yeah, on Access Live, we had Flo Rida on a lot of things because he was sponsored by Budweiser, and so are we.
Oh.
So we would do live, and he is just horrible. He's not a rapper. He's a pop star.
But again, you had Rick Ross there, and you didn't use him instead of Flo Rida.
Well, it's because
It's Miami. You had Trick Daddy in the house. You could have gone many different ways.
Flo Rida's song is sponsoring Fastlane or WrestleMania, I think. So
it was. They maybe yanked it.
But I'm telling you, it was a bad decision. He didn't have to agree to do a rap.
You know what he does? You know what he should be doing? He should be saying like, "Oh, I'm not going to battle rap you. These guys are." And you have the Dudleys do it at least, so it's like he's in the corner of them. He didn't say these terrible lyrics. The Dudleys do it, and if they punch him in the mouth at the end, they can save face.
Everybody
Don't
wins.
worry, TNA volunteered to put out a press release for him about his abysmal performance there. They said they fixed the problem.
But Bo Dallas, hey, he took it and he ran with it, and he outshined Flo Rida.
That's why I brought this up, is because if this does anything, it builds the brand of Social Outcast, it builds the brand of Bo Dallas, it could lead to a character. And I also brought it up just because, as a hip-hop and a music fan, I'm glad it exposed artists like this who I think are just less than genuine.
Well, it also exposes WWE and the sort of higher-ups there in their musical taste. They don't, I mean, they're not...
Wait, Rich, are you trying to say that the WWE officials are out of touch?
Flo Rida's huge, though.
I'm not saying it's not huge. They look at numbers only. They don't look at talent or they look at whether somebody's hot or
but that's
not.
the world. I mean, that's...
Yeah, it is,
everyone.
but I mean, at the same time, the people there probably knew that this was not a good qualified rapper to be in a rap
But let's be
battle.
honest, though. No, Flo Rida, I'm sorry. You should be able to trust him to beat Bo Dallas in a rap. There's no excuse.
I wouldn't trust him to beat my grandmother
I don't
in a
criticize
rap right now.
anyone for putting him in that rap battle, but Flo Rida should have either stepped his game up or been ready, because there's no reason why he shouldn't have destroyed Bo Dallas in that.
Yeah,
right.
Pathetic.
No reason whatsoever.
But Bo destroyed him.
And I'm happy for him.
Bo Rida.
I'm happy for those Social Outcasts.
Flo
With that
Rida
said,
outcast.
that is a fun way to end the show. Scotty Narver, put yourself over.
You can follow me on Twitter at Curtain Jerks, and you can listen to my comedy wrestling podcast, Curtain Jerks, available on iTunes and SoundCloud, and also my comedy video game podcast, 16 Bits Podcast, available on iTunes and SoundCloud as well.
I'm trying to play more.
Yo, jaw.
Yeah.
Feel my knuckles crunch.
Yeah, Scotty. Your favorite.
Good.
Anyway, Chuck Rice.
You can find me on Twitter at CRice17. You can find me on Instagram at Chuck Rice. And yeah,
that's
Beautiful.
good.
Rich Marinchik.
You can find me on Twitter at Rich Marinchik, MARINCIC. The last movie I did, Infernal, is on with Chuck, is on Redbox and at Walmart, and you can also stream it on Hulu.
Beautiful.
And it's on
It's a Hulu Outcast.
It's on Vudu as well.
Is it on Voodoo? Mm-hmm.
It's much scarier than that movie, The Boy.
Is it?
Yeah.
I haven't seen The Boy. Is it good?
It's terrible.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll see. Ours is much better.
There you go.
And cheaper to go see for you right now.
There
so
you go.
Do it.
There you go. We are at Wrestling Buds on Twitter, Facebook.com/WrestlingBuds. I am at Jay Quasto. Once again, the blood drive at Children's Hospital, February 13th. Call 323-361-2441. If you live in the LA area, I'd love to see you there. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're trying to help all these amazing kids. And also, Scottsdale, Arizona, or Phoenix, anywhere in Arizona. I'm going to be at Stand Up Scottsdale, February 4th. 5th and 6th with my good friend Grant Cotter co-headlining. It's going to be a new opening of their brand new club, so go to standupscottsdale.com for tickets or hit me up. And if you like live funny theater, my theater company Whitefire Theater in Sherman Oaks, starting tonight and the next 4 Tuesdays, we're doing live really funny original comedic plays, and I'll be a part of that as well.
So if you're listening to this, you need to be a time traveler to go to Johnny's show tonight.
Yeah, so go to the next 4
Johnny,
Tuesdays.
you were just on Steve Simone's show too, weren't you?
Yes, Good Times, Steve Simone.
Good podcast.
And he's my buddy who's doing the blood drive with me, and so we're really trying to do some good things. So if you can, spread the word. And other than that, we love you guys. We'll see you next week.
Wrestling buddies want to be your buddy. Hey, what's going on?
Hey, buddy. Buddy. Yes.
You got me mad now.